Hi, I'm Jessica, and when I'm not drinking all the coffee, watching Razorback sports, or hanging out with my family of boys, it's my passion to help elementary music teachers just like you find your unique teaching style. My goal with this podcast is to share helpful tips, strategies, and to give you the motivation you need to gain momentum in your teaching so you can continue being the music teacher rock star you already are. Today we're going to talk about 4 ways to deal with teacher burnout. If you follow bored teachers on social media, they post a lot of funny memes, which is right up my alley. If you're on my email list, which you can join by simply downloading any of the freebies on my website, I'll include a link to the free training page that has all the free teacher resources in the show notes. I'm pretty sarcastic and I love me some memes. So anyways, there was one they shared this week that says, "Teachers in August, I'm organized and prepared for the next 4 weeks. Teachers in March, I have no idea what's happening and I'm prepared for the next 4 minutes." Man, is that true or not? It is so true. When you're preparing for the beginning of the school year, you're so gung-ho and excited and I got all my plans ready and I'm going to do this and that and this and that. And then this time of year hits and it's like, oh gosh, what was I going to do this week? Oh, I don't feel like doing that. Oh, the kids didn't really like that activity. Man, I don't even have tomorrow planned. And so, first of all, I want to tell you, it's completely normal. And if you've been feeling like this, maybe you're feeling like the little engine that could and you're barely making it. Maybe this is your first year teaching, so you've never experienced a true springtime in the music room. So all of this is new to you. Or maybe you've taught for years, but every year this time of year sneaks up on you and you feel like you're just kind of going through the motions. If this is something you've been battling, we're going to talk about that today and how it's completely normal to feel this way and some strategies to help you make it to the end of the school year, okay? And thrive in your classroom for the next few months, okay? Before we do, though, I'm excited to announce that I'm going to start including interviews with elementary music teachers just like you on the podcast. So I'm going to rotate me recording podcast episodes like I usually do, but also including some interviews that you can listen in on with music teachers and what they're doing in their classrooms. I'll talk to different music teachers about what they're doing, their teaching style, why they wanted to become a music teacher, and any advice they have for teachers new to teaching elementary music. So if this sounds like something you'd like to do and you want to do an interview to be featured on the podcast, just email me at jessica@thedomesticmusician.com for details and to schedule an interview. Okay, so getting back to topic. The first thing to do when you're battling teacher burnout and overwhelm is to talk about it to other teachers, friends, or family. Venting and having others listen to what you're going through is needed. It's when you hold it all in that you feel like you're so stressed out, that's when the problems start. And that's when you start internalizing things and you just notice the stress is just gaining in the moment, it's like the snowball that just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling. It's when you hold it all in, like I said, that's when the problems start. So honestly, sometimes what works for me, if you don't feel comfortable talking to someone else, maybe don't view it as complaining and I'm just griping about my job and people think I hate what I'm doing, but come at it, talk about it to someone you trust. Maybe not just, your next door neighbor who's like, I don't really care about your issues, but maybe it's your spouse, your best friend, a teacher confidant you trust. And you're not coming to them as venting, but you're like, listen, I'm really feeling stressed right now. I kind of feel like I just am, like I said earlier, going through the motions. I feel like there's days I'm driving to school and I am just not feeling it at all. Do you have any advice for me? It's okay to talk to people. And I've learned this in my own life. I'm very, very guilty about internalizing things and not talking about it. And that's when I notice I'm the most stressed is when I'm just holding it all in. But here's the other thing. On the flip side, if you don't feel comfortable talking to someone about it, then sometimes simply writing it down on paper, sometimes just getting those thoughts out of your head and putting them on paper really helps, like kind of journaling. Makes me feel like a teenager again when I have a journal. But honestly, write it down and sometimes also pray about it. If you're a praying person, pray about your feelings, get them out there. But sometimes if you're just even talking to yourself, yes, I'm known to talk to myself a lot. It just kind of happens. But what I'm trying to say is release those feelings so you're not hanging on to them anymore. And that helps a lot. So the first way you're going to battle teacher burnout is by simply talking about it or writing it down so you're not internalizing those feelings. Okay. And that is huge. It may not seem like a big deal, but I promise it helps. The second thing I want to talk about is take time for yourself to recharge. We have talked about self-care before, and I can't remember what podcast episode that was off the top of my head, but there was one episode where I talked about self-care and how important it is to take care of yourself. You guys, I'm so guilty about that, I put everyone's needs above myself and my family and students and even the teachers I am helping and my friends and everyone in my life, that sometimes at the end of the day, I'm like, did I do anything for myself today? I'm talking about even 5 minutes. Did I do anything for myself today? And with the days I have not, that's when I'm noticing, ooh, I feel like I am just pouring, and I'm not being poured into. So take time for yourself to recharge. Towards the end of the year and before spring break, everyone's tired and worn out. You're all starting to not like each other some days. The students are arguing more. You feel like the kids are getting on your nerves a little bit more. I'm just keeping it real because that's what I do. Even the other teachers, you're just tired of seeing their faces sometimes. And so everyone's just kind of on edge and in a mood. Or maybe you have those people, there's certain teachers that are just always the positive, always smiling, and you're like, man, what did you drink this morning? I want your coffee. And so there's always going to be the exceptions to the rules, or those students that are always, your front row sitters who are like right there staring you down every single time they come in music, and they're so excited, and it feels like nothing you ever could do could put this child in a bad mood. And you're like, man, I want to be like you. But anyways, if you're like I am, and you're starting to get tired and worn out, take time to recharge. Like I said, even if it's just 5 minutes to take a breather somewhere, maybe it's just when you're taking a bathroom break, because let's be honest, in a school setting, that's usually the only place you can find to be by yourself. You take a break in the break room, there's another teacher in there. Okay, you're like, okay, I'm going to try to go to the teacher's lounge. Oh, someone's in there. Okay, I'm in my classroom. People are popping in all hours of the day anyways. There's a quiet spot on the hallway. Oh, this student saw me and yelled my name. No, bathroom may be the only place. Or maybe you can sneak away to your car if you're allowed to leave the building for 5 minutes. Sometimes just honestly taking that break for yourself, even if you're not doing anything but standing there with your eyes closed, when no one can see you so they don't think you're being weird, but you're just taking time to recharge. But on the flip side of that is maybe you need more than 5 minutes. So maybe on your plan time, maybe that day, instead of planning a lesson or planning your program or planning anything that you do during your plan time, you know what I mean. You know what I mean by planning. I don't need to go into what you do during a plan time. Maybe you are intentionally giving yourself 10 minutes to honestly just take a little break for yourself. Maybe you have a candy bar you've stored in your drawer and you take a little break to just eat your favorite snack. Maybe you're taking a break by drinking a cup of coffee. Maybe you're taking a break by you brought a book that you've been wanting to read. And you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, do not feel guilty for 1 second for taking that time to recharge. Yes, you have 490,064 things that need to get done, but are you going to be able to really focus and effectively get those things done if you're feeling like, a class just left your classroom and that was probably the hardest class you've taught the whole entire school year and you feel like you're about to cry? No, you can't. And then your plan time follows that. You can't go straight from teaching a rough class to doing your plan time feeling like you're stressed out. Take some time to breathe. And even after just taking some deep breaths, you'll notice, okay, I can focus now. I'm able to plan. I got this stuff I need to get done. Now I can do it. Okay. So I give you permission right now. If nobody else is giving you permission, I'm giving you permission to recharge. Okay. And take time to just breathe. Alrighty. All right. The next thing I want to talk about is lesson plans. Now, I have 2 podcast episodes where I talked extensively about lesson planning in the music classroom, and that's not what I'm going to talk about today. Today, I'm going to talk about what do you do if your plans aren't working, Okay, it's the end of the school year. And I say the end of the school year. Now, you guys, I mean, there's a couple months left. Let's be real. But if your plans are not working, it's okay to try something else. All right? What I mean by this is maybe things have been going well all year, but now you find your students are just a little bit more, I don't know, what's the word, squirrely? If this is the case, do lots more movement activities. Just like the phrase says, if you can't beat them, join them. That's the truth. You know, if you're just constantly telling your students, sit still, don't do that, don't talk, quit talking, stop bothering your neighbor, you need to listen, you need to pay attention. There's been times I've completely stopped a class period before and been like, forget it. I have this plan I wanted to do. It was a good lesson plan, but the students just could not focus. Maybe they were off that day. Maybe they've been doing testing and they've been sitting still for so long that there's no way they can sit still for even like one more minute. Maybe they've come to music and just, for some reason, whatever's in the air that day, they're just in moods. And you're just like, I'm just not doing this. Halt. We're going to try this again next time I see them. And then honestly, the next time you see them, usually you can re-pick up where you left off. Just having that one class period to, what's the word again? Recharge, right? So what I mean is, okay, let's get back on track. I go on bunny trails a lot, and I'm sorry. It's just the way my brain is. Okay, so what I mean by if you can't beat them, join them, it means if you're trying to teach a lesson and you're trying to teach a new song and you're trying to show them, a new skill and you've written it on the whiteboard and you're wanting them to really listen and let's learn the notes on the staff today and you notice like only one pair of eyeballs is on you, first of all, don't take it personally. You could have the best classroom management in the whole entire world, but there's just going to be certain days, no matter what you do, no matter what you try, no matter how, if you're the best teacher in the whole entire world, students sometimes are just off. I'm just keeping it real. Okay. So, it doesn't mean when I say if you can't beat them, join them, that all classroom management strategies, like we discussed in episode 5, go out the window. What it means is you're flexible enough to know when something isn't working and you adjust your plans accordingly. Okay. Maybe you just be creative and you okay, if you know that there's no one outside that day and it's a nice day, I have been known to take classes outside. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. So there are several activities you can do outside. Rhythm relay races. There's even the musical instruments four corners where there's a game I play in my classroom where they go to the losing my train of thought here, but 4 instrument families, and they go to the corner of what instrument family the instrument you call out belongs to. Do that game outside. Maybe you're playing, have them create rhythms together outside using actual sticks instead of rhythm sticks, or find rocks they can use to create a rhythm with. Maybe they come up with a movement activity, or maybe you simply bring music outside, something to play it on, and have the students dance. Okay, so I have been known to do that. And honestly, it's a breath of fresh air for everyone. And you're still teaching music, you're just changing it up a little bit. And if you're anything like me, I'm very type A. I don't like to change my lesson plans. If I have it planned, I want to do it. I want to do the lesson I planned. I have it all organized and planned out and written out, and I know what I want to do step by step. But changing it up sometimes is okay. Please be aware that it's okay to change things up. You can't just keep trying and nothing's working. It's not going to work. Okay, what I mean is you're not going to be effectively teaching a lesson anyways if your students are not able to pay attention that day. It would be more effective to just save that lesson, which I'm sure is wonderful, for the next time you see them and say, okay, you guys, remember last time I changed things up a bit and we went outside or we did these other activities. Well, today I really need to do that lesson we were going to do. And because we did all those other things today, I really need you to pay attention and focus. And I promise you a lot of times that really does work. Not all the time, but a lot of times it works. Okay. So the last thing I want to talk about is I really think this is something important to say. You aren't the only teacher feeling the way you're feeling overwhelmed and burnt out, and I just feel like I can't do this, or how am I going to make it spring break? You're not the only one. I know it feels like you are, and you're afraid if you mention the fact that you just didn't feel like coming to work today, you feel like you're going to be judged and misunderstood, right? It's not the case at all. If teachers tell you that they never feel overwhelmed and stressed out, they're lying, okay, 100%. I'm just being honest with you. Maybe they don't show it on the outside as much as you do, or maybe they haven't gone and cried in a closet. I'm raising my hand over here. Or maybe they haven't, maybe they just internalize it more, or maybe they're just very good about saving it all till they're home, and then they have them a glass of wine, or then they binge on all the Netflix shows. But I promise you, even teachers that have been teaching 30 to 35 years, I've had conversations with these teachers. They have bad days too. They have teacher burnout days. The feelings you're feeling are completely normal, especially this time of the year. You're battling spring fever with your students. Summer is inching closer. Your upper elementary students are not cooperating as much as they used to. And honestly, some of them are starting to deal with puberty, which is a whole nother ballgame in itself. And there's about 578 end of the year things already being scheduled. You feel like you're being pulled in 100 different directions. It's overwhelming. Teaching is hard. It's just hard. It's rewarding. You got into this profession for a reason, but it's hard. So what I want to encourage you to do is feel those feelings, music teacher, okay? Then keep going on full speed ahead. Remember to take a breather when needed. Go home and really relax at the end of the day. It is hard to stop thinking about everything that needs to get done, but when you're home, really try to be home and give yourself the break you need. Okay? So I want to encourage you that I'm praying for you, that you are doing a much better job than you probably think you are. I promise you, it's okay to feel feelings. It's okay to not be okay all the time. It's okay to not feel joyful and happy and walking with a pep in your step every day. It is. You're going to have hard classes. You're going to have hard days. But I promise you, it's completely normal and that you are doing a better job than you think you are. Alrighty? So I just want to encourage you to keep going and that you are going to make it through, and the last few months of school are going to go great. And I am just so flippin' proud of the music teachers that I get to talk to every day, and that I just hear the great things you're doing in your classrooms. And I know that your students are learning music, and because of you, they are learning music because you are the music teacher that your students need. Thank you so much for listening in to the Elementary Music Teacher Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And while you're there, I would love for you to review the show and leave a rating on iTunes. To find out more about how I can help you gain momentum in your elementary music teaching career, head to thedomesticmusician.com, where you'll find free downloads, courses, the blog, and so much more. Continue teaching music and never doubt the impact you're making each and every day in the lives of your students.